All right, so in the previous lesson, we created a recipe schema using Zod, and then we managed to get a response from the model which matched that schema. So now what I want to do is send that JSON back to the front end and then render those different properties to the browser. The first thing we need to do then is delete this block constant because we don't need that anymore. And then we can come to the recipe property down here and we can change the value to be message.parsed_output, which is the same thing we logged to the console earlier. Okay, so now we're returning that JSON and we can head back to the recipe panel component to render these different properties in a template. So currently in this file, we're just outputting the recipe as it is because previously we got back one big chunk of text and we just dumped all of that here. But now we've got a bunch of different properties on that recipe. So let's try outputting one of them right here. So at the end of this recipe, I'm just going to say .title. And notice when I do that, we're going to get an error which tells us that the title property doesn't exist on the recipe, but we know it does because we saw it logged to the console in the previous lesson. And the reason we're getting this error is because in the types folder, we've got a recipe file for the recipe type, and in here we're saying that the recipe type is just a string and that it doesn't have all those different properties on it. But down here I've also prepped a type which matches the format that we get back from the API route with all of those different properties. So let's delete this first recipe type up here, and then we'll uncomment this updated recipe type down here as well and save the file. And then if we head back to the recipe panel file, we can see that the error has gone away. Awesome. Also, if we delete the title property and then just add on the dot after the recipe, then we can see all of those other properties available to us now in this template. Anyway, I'm going to keep this as it is just for now, just the title, save the file, and then just quickly preview this in a browser to make sure it's working. All right then, so I'm not going to add any filters or anything. I'm just going to generate a recipe just to make sure that we can see the title being rendered right here when the recipe is returned to us. And yep, there it is. Awesome. All right, so now we just need to flesh this template out so that we're showing all the data on this recipe. Now, I'm not going to write all of this out from scratch because that would take a long time and it would probably be pretty boring for you as well. So instead, I'm going to be copying and pasting little sections over and quickly going over each one of them. They're all coming from the course files. Also, I have already made all of the styles for this template, which are in the page CSS module down here somewhere. So we don't need to be adding any more CSS, but we will be adding the class names to elements in this template. All right then, so the first snippet I'm going to paste in is for a bit of a header at the top of the recipe. And you can see we're applying styles like this. Inside that, we've got a div right here for the recipe title. That's where we're outputting this. And also the recipe description. So that's just like a couple of lines, like a summary, I guess, about the recipe. Then down here, we've got another div, which is some metadata about the recipe, and that includes the cooking time in minutes, and then how many servings this recipe makes. All right, so that's the header. After that, I'm going to paste in another snippet down here. So this section is for the ingredients, and you can see right here, we've got an H2 that says ingredients, and below that a UL. And inside that, we take the ingredients from the recipe and we map through them, and for each ingredient, we return an LI tag. Now, each LI tag has this style, so we can style it individually. And it has the key of the ingredient name because that's going to be unique. And then the quantity as well. So the key is the name of the ingredients and the quantity combined together. And then down here, we've got the ingredient name. And then we've got the quantity as well being output to the browser. All right, so let me grab the next section. Let me just do this, copy it from my course files and paste it in down here. And this section is going to be for the steps involved in the recipe. So we can see we've got a title, then we've got an OL this time. And again, we map through the steps. And for each step, we output a bit of template, which is an LI tag. And we just basically take the step and output it. All right, so after that, we've only got the notes left. So I'm going to grab this last bit of template from the course files and paste it down here. And you can see we first of all check that we have notes because I guess they could be optional. So we make sure the length of that array is greater than 0. If it is, then we output this section for the notes where we have a title of notes, then a UL, and again we map through the notes, and for each note we output an LI tag right here and we output the note. If we don't have any notes, then we don't output anything. We just put null here. That means nothing gets rendered. All right, so let me save this now, and now we can preview this in the browser. All right then, so I'm just going to try generating now a couple of different recipes. So I'm going to keep the ingredients the same, and then I'm going to say we'll have a max of 5 ingredients for this one, and we'll keep it veggie. So let's generate these recipes, or rather recipe, and see what happens. All right, there we go, and that looks so much better than before, much more readable. So we've got the title up here with a little description. We have... Okay, so the minutes aren't coming back. So that is a problem. We'll try that again in a moment, but I may need to look at that. But we have how many servings as well. Then down here, we've got the ingredients all styled a bit better, a bit more clear to read, then the different steps. And then finally, some little notes down here as well. All right, so let me generate another one. I'm going to just uncheck those and I'll say cooking 15 minutes or less. I'm going to generate this recipe. Again, we're probably not going to see the time if there's some kind of bug. And yeah, it's not there. So let me just inspect this. To make sure nothing is being output. Yeah, nothing's there. All right, so I'll take a look at that in a moment, but we can see the rest is looking really nice. All right, so I found what was going wrong. Pretty simple problem. Right here in the schema, we said this property was cooking time minutes, and then over here in the type, we say cook time minutes, so it should be cooking, and we're trying to output cook time minutes as well, and it should be cooking. So hopefully now this works. All right, and now we can see that cooking time up here. Let's just generate one more recipe without that being checked. Let's say generate. And yeah, we can see that up here as well, 35 mins, awesome. So then that is the application pretty much finished, and the series as well. Now there are more things you could add to this application, like authentication, so that only authenticated users could generate recipes, or maybe the ability to generate 2 or more recipes at once, and then a user could dismiss the ones they don't want. Maybe the ability to add recipes to a favorites list or something. So you could play around with this and see what you can do. Also, if you want more content like this, or if you want me to make a more in-depth course about the Claude Client SDK, to make something a little bit more complex, let me know in the comments and I will see what I can do. And just one more thing before I leave, I wanted to let you know you can access my entire library of nearly 200 courses at NetNinja.dev, and included in that library are a load of longer masterclass courses and other pro exclusive tutorials not found anywhere else, and I'm frequently adding to them as well. So you can access them all by signing up for a NetNinja Pro membership, which is just $9 a month, and you get your first month half price using this promo code right here. Also, by signing up to the site, you'll get access to the community boards, which has support for all the NetNinja courses too. So I'll leave a link to the sign up page down below the video, and hopefully I'll see you all there.